Mm, mm, mm. So nearly there.
I believe so. Hello, hello, the internet world. I believe we are live. I hope so. Please
Fantastic.
welcome, everybody. My name is Laura. I'm really happy to have you here again with Nathan, especially today, because we have such an amazing topic for you today, in which Nathan is the master of all masters, the king of networking.
I love that. The king of networking. I love that. It's only something that I really love. I think is we're going to be talking loads about it, but I think is one of the key aspects for success. You are not a great networker, you're doomed. You're going to be
Yeah,
struggling and going against the current, against the flow. But if you become a great networker, things become a lot easier. So I love it.
yeah, and you are really great at it as well because you have had a lot of practice and you also run those networking clubs. So maybe you can share a few words. How did you find this love of networking? Did you always have it, or when did you develop this interest?
Uh, I, I was a very shy person as a young one, as a kid and as a teenager. But then I consistently exposed myself outside of my comfort zone. I worked in sales for donkey's years, and I always thought, why is it that it's so difficult sometimes to find the right prospects, and you're always chasing leads? And then I learned that you can actually, there's a science behind it and a proper way to do it so you don't burn yourself out in
Mhm.
looking for those leads. And I loved it. So I just practiced in the beginning. Well, I'm going to be talking afterwards a little bit about it, but I
Mhm.
felt like super nervous. I hated it in the beginning. I was exposed to new people, and it was kind of tricky. But once you get into it, I loved it. I think it's a great way. It's fun if you like new things and you don't want to be doing like always the same things, and it works. I think it's a fantastic way to get clients.
That's amazing. And it's so weird for me to picture you as this shy person because for all the time that I have known you, you have always been this confident communicator and always going out there to meet new people. And that I think is just a beautiful example that anybody can really become really great at something if they wish to do it and put in the work and have the courage to push themselves and go out there.
And it's true. It's the way it is. It doesn't matter how outgoing you are or not outgoing. Even if you are the most shy person, you can become awesome at networking. And we're going to be talking about ways to do it. But even if you find it the most terrifying thing in the world, we promise you, you can be a great networker.
Yeah, yeah. They say that public speaking is one of the most common fears in the world. And I feel like networking for many can be in the same category because you have to go out there and really be in front of strangers and represent who you are and risk being charged and things like that. But of course, yeah, if you have those processes and if you know what you're doing, it's way easier and everything becomes way easier the more experience you have. You become more confident and it will no longer be that scary.
It's the way it is. It's like any other skill. The more you practice it, the more confident you are. But I think enough of chit chat about
Yeah,
working. Let's dig in. Let's go
let's
straight
dig
into
in.
it. So welcome everybody and happy Powerful Marketers Talks Friday. My name is Nathan Manzaneke. I'm one of the co-hosts, and as a brief introduction, I'm an entrepreneur and a business coach for international companies. And we're truly happy to bring you another Powerful Marketer Talks webinar to discuss inspiring ideas, to share knowledge, to bring a little bit of positivity into your Friday or whatever day it is when you're listening to this recording. So grab yourself a cup of coffee, something like this, for example, and or tea, whatever floats your boat. Settle in and be ready for an hour of inspiration. Today's topic, as we were talking, is very special to me. As I've been in referral marketing and referral sales and networking for many years, I love interacting with different people, making new connections, sharing value with different kinds of people. But it has not always been easy for me. So I can relate to you out there if you maybe feel a bit nervous about networking, if you feel that networking is way out of your comfort zone, if you feel uncomfortable about the idea of networking, being with strangers around in a room, either online or face to face, then definitely please stay tuned because we are going to share some exciting practical tips with you today that you can implement. But now I'll want my co-host Laura to please say a few words as well.
Thank you, Nathan. You are too kind. Thank you for allowing me to speak as well on this webinar. I also want to welcome everybody. My name is Laura Kukemelk. I am the other co-host. Very happy to be here. And in short, I am a marketeer from Estonia, currently living in Spain. And I am also part of the Powerful Marketers team. And as on behalf of the whole team, I need to get started with the most important thing first, which is my sincerest gratitude to each and every person joining us right now live or watching it later on as a recording. Truly, your support means so much to us. And it is our deepest wish that this show is something that you look forward to each Friday. So we want to improve. We want to talk about things that matter to you. So please share your feedback, comment below under the YouTube video or in the Powerful Marketers community, or find us from Facebook or LinkedIn. Just reach out and share what it is that you're more interested in, what we could talk about more, how we can improve, and we will listen, we promise, because this show also means a lot to us. And by the way, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, this is our moment of glory. Press the button and it's done. And if you do that, you will get the notification each time we go live, which is, by the way, on Fridays at the exact same time. So you can already plan that into your calendar as well. So I think that's it. Let's get started with the show, Nathan.
Let's do it. So today our topic is how to build your network from zero to success as a marketer. And you may be thinking, why do I need a network anyways? Or maybe I have already so many people around me, I don't have the time to actually go there and look for more contacts. And I get that. Networking may seem like a chore, like another load that you need to do instead of an opportunity. But the truth is that you cannot be an island as a marketer.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, because most marketers that I know work very hard. There's so many things that a marketer needs to be great at and things that marketer needs to know. And I feel like marketers put their everything into their profession because they really love marketing. But that may lead to feeling alone, especially if you're working 24/7 and you have nobody around who gets the same struggles that you go through. And maybe you don't even have nobody to go to ask advice from because they are in completely different fields and industries. And of course, as a marketer, you need to feel connected to what's happening around you. All those new trends, new opportunities in this ever-changing environment, because nothing stays the same. And marketing never happens in this bubble where nothing impacts you. And marketers can't also exist in that bubble. So making professional connections, also known as networking, is a huge part of being a powerful marketer.
Totally. Networking does require, of course, your time, but I would say it's never time wasted. It's a great investment of your time because as a result, you will also gain access to new ideas, information, best practices, and it can really help you to acquire new business leads, job offers, even if you're looking for another job or you want an upgrade, new business trends, and much more. And this will give you a crucial competitive advantage in the market. And also, the more people you meet, the more people will get to know, you will get to know, and they will get to remember you better and your business and your brand. You can and you should be leveraging every professional and social gathering or event as an opportunity to meet and connect with new people, because being able to network proficiently also increases the way you feel and your confidence. And I would say, Laura, why do you think that's the case, that it increases your confidence?
Yeah, well, like we discussed briefly in the introduction part, then networking is a huge fear for many, And the quickest way to increase your self-confidence is to do the very thing that you're afraid of, because experience is the antidote to fear. So when you network regularly and you train yourself to talk to people you don't know, over time, that fear will also start to decrease as your experiences accumulate. And the better you're able to talk to new people and make those new connections, the more you grow, both personally and professionally. And of course, it's not just about those single contacts that you make, because with each and every person that you meet, you will also gain access to their network. So it will expand exponentially.
I totally agree. I think it will expand in a great way. And this is why in today's webinar, you're going to learn how you can design, how you can craft your network, how it can come alive from zero, from maybe no contacts or very little contacts to a successful network. So we're going to cover how you can strengthen your contact spheres in different professional trades and industries, how to conduct your networking activities so you know exactly what to do and how to do it, and really become a great networker.
Yep, we will. And of course, we want all of our Powerful Marketer Talks webinars to be practical as well. And that is why we will elaborate on a strategy called Gains X. Those of you who joined us last week, you may already remember this because we briefly mentioned it. But today we will dive right into it and show you how this framework helps you to communicate with other people at business events, but also in social events, in weddings, in birthday parties, and so on. And another great thing is that you will understand the circle of trust, which sounds very Lion King-y, but actually it helps you to qualify your contacts and see who's there already around you and how you could expand that circle.
Yeah, circle of trust. Simba, one day, everything of the life. Yeah, let's do that. So without further ado, let's get started.
Yep, let's do that. So Nathan, can you please explain briefly what exactly is this network?
Of course, well, your network is the total amount of your professional connections and how you work with them. And the word itself is a compound word, partly consists of net and work. So it's an open mesh fabric made of nodes. That is the meaning of net, connected or woven together at regular intervals. And work, well, you know what that means? It means effort and sometimes strain, continuous repeated operations.
Wow, that sounded so fancy, straight out of the dictionary. I'm so glad that you knew it from that heart without having to think about it. But I've also heard this phrase many times, your network is your net worth. Why do you think that is?
Well, the way you are working your professional contacts right now determines how you succeed. It determines how your pool of resources will look like in the future, the kinds of opportunities you're going to have access to, and it sets the upper standard for your success. So the quality of your work is going to determine, definitely going to determine how much support you get in everything you do. The second, the relevance of your market intelligence, any information that you're working with at any given point. And the third aspect, how much new business you're getting from referrals in your network.
Yeah, that is a good point. And I think that many people don't actually consciously think about their network every day. It only comes to mind when we need something. For example, when we look for a new job, like you said before, or our car breaks and now we're running around all of our friends saying like, oh my God, do you know a guy who can fix this car, who is trustworthy and so on, or even renovating your home. There's always something that we need. And more often than not, we trust our friends' opinions when we try to find a new person who can help us. So that's why you need the network before you actually need something. So that is the best crime. That is the best crime. That is the best time to start creating your network before you actually need something, because it takes time to build this network, and it takes time to build those relationships behind those connections. And networking is all about wanting to help each other, to bring each other businesses, to get help to the questions or problems we may have. And that's why networking reciprocity works very well. So the more you give value to others, the more you help others, the more you will also get it in return.
Yeah, and if you think about different uses, not just to get clients, think about changing jobs. Not when we're telling that you should leave your job, but what if you wanted to? What do you think is the most valuable asset that any employer will appreciate very much if you're able to bring it to the table? It's not just your skills, it's not just your talents, it's your contacts, those contacts that you have been able to establish and strengthen over time. And when you bring a well-developed, a deep-seated business network to the table, you are worth more money. That means that you are able to contribute much more than your expertise, because you're also contributing your capacity to generate new ideas, new market intel, and bring even new accounts and business into the company.
Absolutely, I agree. And I think everybody who listens to us can agree that having people around us is very valuable. And of course, I have to bring up the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Otherwise, it wouldn't.
We needed a pyramid.
Typical Powerful Marketing Talks webinar. Yep. So I need to bring it up again because it just summarizes so beautifully the fundamental needs that each and every one of us has. And the need to belong is there, and it's there for a reason. So we all need to belong. We all need people around us. So yes, we can all agree to that. But going back to the topic of our webinar, what to do if your network is rather small at the moment and you feel like maybe either your personality doesn't fit in the networking events, or you don't know how to get started or where to go. For example, when you're shy and introverted and you feel like if you go to these events or if you go and meet new people, then it will just look awkward and you will be so self-conscious and there's not even any point in trying. So what do you say to that, Nathan?
I would say it's a very normal thing. It's something that don't feel any bad at all about that, because it's a very common fear. And I have to say that the best networkers that I found ever have been very shy people, very like introverts.
Wow.
And there's a reason why. Networking at the end of the day is some form of public speaking. You need to be very visible. Some people don't like to have the spotlight on them. You need to speak up and introduce yourself. And of course, you have only one chance to create a great impression. So I would say it doesn't matter if you're an introvert or not, you still need to be really well prepared. And the good news in there is that even if you don't feel like you are this outgoing, naturally gifted person, like very salesy and all over the place, you don't need that to be a great networker. Absolutely, you don't. To get the best results from your referral marketing activities, you need a process. You need to follow up. And if you are a very organized person, if you are this person that is able to or appreciates the value of repeated, replicable processes, you're going to be great. You're going to be just fine. This means that you are going to become better with social gatherings and people just by cultivating your network as this ongoing process rather than the super scary social contact.
Yeah, that is a great point, because so many things can actually be translated into processes. And as you know, I love processes because they're very easy to follow, and that's how you can predict what will happen next, and it will take away this fear of unknowing. But let's get started with the basics. Let's assume I am now the listener and I'm thinking, okay, I get the point that these two are trying to make. I know that networking is necessary, but where should I start? What should I do? What would you say, Nathan?
I would say from the beginning, and the beginning sometimes is the end. Sometimes to begin to do something, you need to see, okay, where am I going? What do I want to achieve? So like in any other planning activity, think, what do you want to achieve? You need to be clear about what you want out of your network activities and who you are as a person, as a professional. What do you bring? What do you want? And the reason why is if you send mixed signals, either with what you say or your demeanor, your attitude, you will confuse other people. And that means that you are going to undermine your credibility. People are maybe not going to take you that seriously anymore. So stop for a moment, what is it that you really do and how do you do it? How can you communicate that? And we cover that on another webinar. Do other people around you know exactly what you do, and how well you do they know those things that you do?
These are very valid questions, and I can think of a great example here that when your mother or any other person from your family tries to explain your job to their friends, how on point are they? Because I feel like other people's jobs always seem very complicated. And with parents, there's of course this generation gap as well. So the things I, for example, do in my daily life, in my profession, are something that were not even imaginable back at the day when my mom was choosing her career. But of course, I haven't always put too much effort in trying to explain to her also what I do. And by the way, it's not just sitting on Facebook and advertising. There's so much more. So yeah, I understand why she may be confused.
It's very common that people who are the closest to us, they know the least about what we do. They know the least about how to help us expand our network into that direction that we want to. But that's because we don't tell them. And it's a pity, isn't it? Because you have right there the people the most motivated to help you with the least amount of information. So even if they want to help you, they don't have the right information to do it.
Unfortunately not, yeah. And if you think of the circle of trust, which we mentioned before, it's not from Lion King, it's actually a real life thing.
Yeah,
yeah. Then in the circle of trust, we have those people around us who are closer and who are farther away. So of course, in the center, there's you. You are the closest person you have to yourself. You are your own best friend, or at least you should be. Moving on, we have the inner circle, which consists of those people who are the closest to you. So your family, your closest friends, and people like that. Moving a bit further from the core, we have another circle containing those people that you can trust, but that you're not as close to. So they don't know every little detail about your life, but if need be, you can go to them. Outside of that, you have people that you may know, but with whom you've only built little trust. So those are your acquaintances, maybe old schoolmates, people like that. And everybody else who doesn't fit into any of the previously mentioned circles is in the last circle, which is the strangers, all the other people on the planet that you know nothing about and who know nothing about you. Now, if you look at this beautiful graph, then which of these circles is more likely to support you on your way to success as a marketer? Is it going to be the strangers or somebody else? So think, if you had to ask someone for help, which one of those circles is most likely to help you?
It is a rather beautiful chat. I wonder who would have prepared.
No idea.
Beautiful chat. So the answer I would say is pretty obvious, even if you've never done any actual referral marketing. But if you ever have tried to get business referrals from someone, you know that that person has to trust you, has to like you and know you really well before introducing to you a potential client. Because they build trust with that person, they know. Maybe they go years back in history, they got a very long history together. Maybe it's a very appreciated client and it's taken them a lot of time and effort and money to create that relationship. So in their minds, for them to give you an introduction or a referral without knowing how you're going to do with that connection, without fully trusting you, is too much uncertainty to handle. Are you going to do a rubbish job? And then my contact is going to come to me and say, hey, who is this dude that you introduced to me? Horrible experience. Don't ever do that again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that the only way to build that trust, or the only way for others to start trusting you, is for you to really take the initiative, to be proactive, to give first, and give before you need something. Give out more, and you will receive later on also back more.
That's so true. And I think that the best way to do that is to work on what we call your network status quo. If you can think of like an X-ray of your relationships, that's kind of a description of what we're talking about. And for this purpose, we designed the network quality assessment tool inside the Powerful Marketer program. And we're going to go over this today as well. It sounds really fancy. We like this assessments and tools, don't we? We like to get in the nitty and gritty of it, because we want for this information to be actionable, so you can actually do something with it. So think about the individuals in each category of that circle of trust that we just described, this beautifully crafted chart. For example, family members, friends, any other people you like and trust, people that like and trust you, or the people that you're friendly with. And also think about those who might have the right contacts to introduce to you great potential clients or opportunities. Maybe they can help you with any kind of professional information, business intelligence. So now try to qualify how much trust is there between you two. How much does that person know about you and your business? So can you evaluate the quality of that relationship, of each individual relationship? And give it a score. Give it from 0 to 10. 0, no trust whatsoever. They hate me, or they don't know me at all. 10, they know.
Best friends forever.
Exactly, BFFs. So don't worry if you notice that not everybody that is relevant in your network has enough information or a great quality relationship yet to be able to refer business to you. And if that happens, don't worry. It just means that you need a bit of work on your network. Maybe you need a bit of strategy, I need a bit of a structure to how you work it. And doing this activity will give you the chance to identify areas and relationships where you can improve. And what is going to be the result? Is going to be that you're going to carry out subsequent actions to strengthen those key relationships. And once you've worked on those, you're going to have much better results. You're going to get better things from them, both in your private life and also in your career.
Yes, and if you think about your individual journey as you have developed in life, then of course you can see that we are not the same people that we were maybe 5 years ago or 10 years ago. We all evolve. And why this is important is that if you are planning to expand and strengthen your network, then you need to prepare with abundance in mind. So even if something that was super critical and super necessary for you maybe 2 years ago, you may not need it at the moment. And there are right now 2 ways that you can approach this. One way is that you can try to predict your future, try to guess how your path of development will go, how your profession will change, how your industry will change, what do you need in 10 years, 15 years, or I would say a bit better way is to create a diverse network where you have these very different industries, very different professionals who all want and can assist you with different things in the future. So, for example, if you are a marketer, which I assume that most likely you are listening to us, it's very easy to think of only those contacts that are related to marketing, such as graphic designers or web developers or software engineers, photographers, video editors, and so on. And of course, when you think back to the profession of a marketer 10 years ago, then you wouldn't have needed many of those things. But the point that I'm trying to make is that as a marketer, you're also a human being. You have a personal life. You may need help with other things besides your marketing activities. For example, if your heater breaks down, or if your computer breaks down, if you have a legal issue, who can you turn to? And if you think about your future and you are very hopeful that it is as successful as you want it to be, then of course plan it as it's very abundant, and the wider range of resources that you want to gain access to in the future, then the more wider and diverse your network really needs to be.
Yep, and this is why we recommend you to audit your network.
Ooh, we love audits.
You knew there would be an audit somewhere.
Audit and a pyramid.
Exactly.
Now, Powerful Marketer Talks.
the thing is, we wanted to be able to act on this information. So we talked about how to describe who is in different circles. Now we're going to get even deeper into this. You see there a qualification or rating by industry. And this is where you write as many names of people you already know in your network as you can think of. The only particularity in here is that we're going to sort them out by sectors, by industries, by marketing, healthcare, technology, construction, legal, services, B2B, B2C, whatever you can think of. You can think like a ton of them, tourism, so many others. And you may write a lot of names for the same specialty. And it's okay to have 100 lawyers, 1,000 insurance brokers. Don't stop or don't write any of those because you think you have too many. Keep on writing them. But ultimately, when it comes to designing your network, what you're looking for is balance potentially. Ideally, what you want is to have great relationships with professionals in all categories. Even if you don't think right now that you might need them, somebody else are going to need them in the future, and you might be very thankful that they are there. The reason for this is not as obvious as you may think. For example, you might not be looking particularly for customers in, say, transport services industry. Maybe you don't think you need logistics or transport. But let's say that you happen to know a lot of people in that industry and that there's a great connector, somebody that can prescribe your services or your products, who will be very happy if you were able to connect him or her with someone that does transport services. Now, if you give to that connector of yours one or more good referrals, good contacts, what do you think the chances are that that connector is going to want to thank you and help you out in the future? The advantage of having a balanced network is that you become much more valuable and referable to your network. So all of a sudden, you're really cool. People really like you and want to spend time with you because they see the value of networking with you. And the more you're able to help your network, the more brownie points you accumulate with them, you score. And in referral marketing, brownie points equal lovely referrals that turn into closed business and great opportunities all year round.
Well, I wouldn't mind some brownie points or brownies in general. But yeah, once you have audited your network and you're able to identify those areas that need a bit more balance, your next step should be to create this priority map, because of course, not all industries can be your priorities. You have to put your focus somewhere. And this priority map should include information about the very same industries that you need to strengthen. And if you know that, then what, Nathan? How can I get started? I have my priority map. I'm ready to go. When will the contacts come?
I would say start creating the destination as you go. And that way you will be able to know towards what you're actually aiming for. Let's say that you set a goal for the next 6 months of having 10 very credible, very experienced professionals in all different industries that you lined out on this audit. Maybe your list consists of 12 main industries, imagine. So that means that over the next 24 weeks from now, you are going to have 120 great contacts in your network. And think about this, if only 10% of this newly acquired network referred one potential client to you, you would have 12 more clients in just 6 months. That's 24 more new clients every year. And now try to take into account the average monetary value of your transactions, your average referral value or quotation value, and then multiply that figure times the coming years. Doesn't that sound like it's worth to you to have all those additional business that you can close?
Of course it does. And I don't think that anybody would mind having those extra clients or an extra stream of revenue, especially at a time like this when most businesses are unfortunately losing business, losing clients, losing money. So definitely there's no arguing that any person listening most likely would not mind being able to do that. So still, Nathan, I have to keep on questioning you. How does it work? Creating a network from zero. What do I need to do exactly?
is something extremely complex,
Oh
very,
my,
very difficult to do. And
oh
it's
my God.
talk to people.
Shocker.
But not just talking. What I mean is have meaningful conversations with the right people. And that sometimes that means to get out of your comfort zone because maybe you don't like to talk to strangers. But let's say that you wanted to design your network starting with the legal sector. And to make things even more difficult, a bit more challenging, imagine, let's assume that you know nobody in that industry. You know no lawyers, nobody in that industry. So what could you do? A good first step could be to have a normal conversation with someone who already works with loads of lawyers or loads of people on clients or in legal services. Somebody that sells stuff to lawyers or that buys a lot of stuff from lawyers. And hopefully somebody that doesn't do exactly what you do, that is not a company. Uh, Example, it could be an accountant. It could be a tax advisor. It could be your branch manager. Hopefully somebody you already know. So you just go and have a normal conversation with an accountant and you say, hey, we've been working for however long. Um, I really trust your professional outlook. To me, you are an amazing accountant. So do you happen to know a couple of good lawyers? Because I got this project going on and I'm going to need somebody that is good. So I like to have a couple of options. That's it. Usually I would say 10 out of 10 times, they're going to say, sure, Laura, of course. Yeah, not two. I know three lawyers. Let me think. And they will actually give you the numbers. Oh, let me call them for you. Oh, Laura is this amazing marketer. And they are going to expect your call and they're going to be helpful. So just by using this simple process, this simple blueprint for a conversation, you can get 2, 3, 4, 5 referrals out of each person that you contact in whatever industry you're looking for. And if you say, hey, Nathan, I know no accountant. Literally, I know nobody. I just finished my degree. I'm new in business. What can I do? Hey, luckily enough, you have LinkedIn. You have social networks. So you can just approach somebody that you trust, that you follow for some time, somebody that you comment on or you thank for their content. And you can say, hey, you're a great accountant. I love the content that you share, or you're a great whatever. I really enjoy your articles and the content that you share. I was thinking, because you look so knowledgeable and I respect you as much in your industry, would you happen to know a couple of lawyers? And I'm guaranteeing it's the same thing as in real life. People naturally want to help you. If you are nice, authentic, and you have a meaningful conversation before asking for something, and hopefully you're able to bring some value as well, they will want to help you.
Of course, especially if you compliment them and say that you really value their opinion, and everybody wants to feel appreciated and trusted. So yeah, I think that that this step is rather simple. You just need to pick a good connector in each industry and go from there. So in the marketing industry, maybe the equivalent would be to talk to a good printing company, because most marketers need some brochures or any other physical printing materials. And for the personal services industry, it might be a good idea to talk to a hairdresser, because a lot of people go through there, a lot of people discuss their jobs and everything that they do. And for the events industry, I think that maybe talking to a caterer or a photographer is a good start, because they are the ones that actually go to those events, and so on and on, right?
Absolutely. And after having audited your network and established what you want to do, in which direction you want to grow your network, just increase the number of interactions that you have face to face, if you can, if you're not under lockdown or something. But still, you can go on Zoom, you can go on
face to face with 2 meters apart.
Exactly. And because we're talking to an Estonian, you all guys know that Skype comes from Estonia. It's awesome, awesome face-to-face interaction tool. So yeah, whatever platform you choose, you have to increase the amount of face-to-face interaction that you have. You could just give them a call, but because what you want to do is to build relationship and trust. Nothing substitutes for that human contact. So even if you are allergic to picking up the phone, even if you didn't do your makeup this morning, it's not the same. Don't
What are
take
you implying?
no, nothing at all. You always look awesome.
Of
What
course,
I
of course.
mean is that you cannot substitute face-to-face and real interaction. And when I say real, I include also as real Zoom calls or Skype calls by text or email. You have to work on it. They need to hear your voice. You need to create this great experience for that person by interacting with them face to face. Right now, that's kind of easy with these platforms that we have. And in these early stages of your networking building strategy, I would say look for quantity. You might want to expand the horizontal network as much as you can. And don't forget to identify also who can be a great connector, a type A connector in a way, because maybe they work with more clients. As simple as that. By statistics, if they like you, if they trust you, they have more potential to refer to your business. And I also would say, if you're just starting, maybe you don't have a lot of money, for example, and you kind of can't afford the membership for these crazy, super cool networks like BNI, like Netting, B2B Club. You've got plenty of different networks that you can join, but maybe A, you don't have the resources, and two, some of those networks, they qualify the candidates. And unless you have a proven track record in your business, they might not accept you. Or unless you can prove that you have a large network. So if you're just starting, you don't have those things. What can you do? Don't spend any money. You have Chamber of Commerce, maybe in your city or in your region. You have trade associations, you have business organizations, for example, like federations, young entrepreneurs. Just go to as many free events as you can. Be nice. Don't try to sell things like desperate, so people don't go away from you every time they see you. And just expand your network, make it really wide. So one day when you do these little things, then you are a valuable asset. And then you want to be a candidate for B2B Club, for Netting, or maybe for BNI. They will look at your content and say, you are cool. Now we believe that you can bring something to the table.
And I think a very simple way to get started is also to join different social media groups, for example, Powerful Marketers Community, because there's already so many professionals inside that group who are very good contacts for you if you want to expand to another country, or if you want to get more information about the very specific thing that you may not be that acquainted with. So there's so many people out there, and you can just really for free go and meet those people and make yourself known. But yeah, okay, if I know now who I want to connect with and where I can find them, then what do I do now? How can I get to know these people, Nathan?
Is again super difficult.
Oh my God. Stop it
No,
with the difficult. I can't.
No, it's not. It's so super easy. There is a process that you can follow. I heard first about this like 10 years ago, 12 years ago. It's called the Gains Profile, created by Dr. Ivan Meisner. This guy is like this business guru, creator of BNI, and he writes a ton of things on networking. So if you want to understand this framework in depth, go to his book. He's got a fantastic book called Business by Referral, where he explains many of the things about networking that are going to expand the way you think about doing it. And by the way, in the Powerful Marketers program, we created an expanded version. I would say even a deeper concept called the Gains X, based on this. But let's show this structure, because it's way easier than it looks. It's an acronym with 6 straightforward concepts. The first one is goals. What do you want to achieve? And you can get a little personal as well, but if you prefer to stay professional, you can talk about your ambitions. What do you want to achieve? What are your targets? What do you want to be next year, in 5 years? Then the achievements. What are you most proud of? Maybe you were able to help a particular client or get this big account or do this big project. Interests and likes. What do you enjoy in business? Any particular interest? And the reason is because that helps you to link and to bond with other people that may share those interests. Networks. What does your network look like? Where do you do networking? Maybe you belong to the same clubs and you practice sports in the same places. And all of a sudden that person, yeah, they like you even better because I didn't realize that we studied in the same school a few years ago. Skills. What are your specialties? What are your biggest strengths? Why should I refer to your business? And then the X factor to me is the critical one. What's your why? Simon Sinek says that people will not buy what you do. They will not buy how you do it. They will only buy why you do it. Mm-hmm. So what do you stand for? What are your values? What is your why? What motivates you and drives you every morning to do great marketing? What's your preferred behavioral style, how you communicate? And these elements, if you think about them in a structured approach, you can use them to have meaningful conversations.
Yep, and I really, really love this framework because it works both ways, I would say. You can use those questions to go out and be the first person to start a conversation. And people will be really amazed that you can ask those type of advanced questions, that you don't just say like, what's your name, what do you do? Because that's a very generic thing and it's boring, I would say. And of course, you can also use this framework to tell others a little bit more about yourself, open up a bit, be a little bit more vulnerable. And of course, I get it as a rather closed person. It's very hard to go and suddenly start talking about your biggest achievements and your dreams and goals in life. But if you dare to do that, you will create a way more emotional connection because people truly, they will not remember exactly what you said, but they will remember that feeling they had when they spoke with you. And they will start also imagining all of these wonderful things that they can do because you will inspire them with your vulnerability and your stories.
Wow, that's so powerful. I love it. It's very inspiring as well. I think the way you put it, you will never go blank again. It doesn't matter if you are a young entrepreneur or if you're a young marketer or you don't have that, you feel you don't have that experience. With this structure, never again feeling that you don't know what to say. And it's interesting, this the creator of the gains profile, Dr. Meister, he encourages to use this as a basis for communication for a one-to-one meeting when you want to find out from another professional just how to collaborate. I really like it. It's a great concept for many reasons. First, because when you want to be more effective in understanding the people you network with, these gains X that we have created provides a common framework for you. So you would know what to say. There is a structure, both when you're mingling and when you have a conversation with your contacts and when you're having regular meetings with those contacts.
Yes, and it also works in personal life events and social settings. So if you are an introvert, then I am going to assume that most likely you don't enjoy being the one to start the conversation. You'd rather wait for somebody to approach you and then start asking you questions. But this approach may lead you to pass on wonderful opportunities. And that's not exactly beneficial to your networking or to your career or your business. So that is why I truly believe it's a great idea to learn and practice the gains approach in everyday conversations in business and in life. And the beauty of it is that it's so simple and anybody can master it. And if at first you feel weird about it, you feel like the words that you have to say, talking about your goals, that they are not authentic, then just practice in front of the mirror, practice with your close friends and so on. And you will gain more and more confidence with that. So for those of you who are introverts, this gains approach will take you from feeling uncomfortable about starting a conversation to having a clear way to begin a successful interaction where you're mostly going to be in full control of how the situation progresses, which is ideal for people who value processes.
Absolutely. And the reason is, and I felt that many, many times, uh, you feel threatened just because you're in an environment where you don't feel you're controlling things. So many strange people, you don't know them. Some people are very loud or very excited, and you see that they feel in control, and you are like, what's going on? The very idea of going and talking to them, it is scary. And as you say, maybe just starting the conversation, you feel that it's too challenging, too much to handle. You know the feeling of blushing, your whole face is like a balloon, like you feel like really hot and you think it's going to explode. Maybe you feel that the palms of your hands are all sweaty, your voice is cracking, you go blank and you think, oh, damn, why? And this is a big opportunity to talk, to seed with these people that could really, really hook me up with great clients or great opportunities. Why do I get so nervous? What can I do? And that's the opposite of feeling empowered, isn't it?
Yeah, so true. And I actually used to feel rather jealous when I saw people who just appeared to be naturally so cool and charming and in control when speaking in public and talking to new people. And I just felt like, okay, maybe there's something wrong with me that I couldn't do it. Because for me, it seemed like everybody else was excellent at it. They were not afraid of these situations. They went there excited. They talked with ease, not nervous at all. And I couldn't get it. But of course, I now understand that my personality type was a bit different. So if you saw our webinar a couple of weeks ago about the behavioral styles, about communicating, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. Because there are those people who are born to shine in networking situations. They love talking, they love inspiring others, they love influence and so on. But then there are those other types of people, those who are great with processes and things like that. And they just need to work, I would say, 10 times harder to not feel out of place, but it is 100% doable.
Yeah, and you know the saying, it says that the grass always looks greener on the other side of the fence.
Yep.
That means that whatever is your style or however you feel about networking, you always think other people are better. And then sometimes you feel a bit guilty or you think a bit, come on, what's wrong with me? For example, as you mentioned, these blue kind of personality out of the DISC model quadrant, these people that are a bit more considerate, that need more time, that need more information to process things, and that they are great in that way and very valuable to the organizations. When it comes to networking, they are very guarded, maybe, and it takes a bit more time for them to warm up to new people. And the tendency also, because they are so realistic about everything in life and business, they're very aware about what is not so right, not so right now, is right, but what they don't do so well. So if they feel they have a disadvantage, sometimes they are so realistic that they are very negative. And then it becomes like this destructive self-talk. And this affects the way you see yourself, the way you talk to yourself. I'm horrible. Why am I such a freak and I'm not able to talk to people? And that actually becomes a real obstacle that shouldn't be there in the first place. So this is why it's so critical to stop thinking that everybody else is better and cooler than you. Because if you feel in this way, that's really going to be in the way from you becoming a powerful communicator.
Yep, 100%. And the good news is that your behavioral patterns are actually part of your branding as a marketer. You can also market yourself. And it's part of your unique powers in life and business. It's what makes you. And if you think about movies or books where you have this superhero, then there's always a time of conflict when the hero finds out about his or her superpowers. And before that, they feel like those powers are a burden or a curse, and they wish that, oh my God, why can't I just be normal? And over in those movies and books and comic books, the hero over time learns to control those powers, and they will start to work in their favor, and people will start to look up to them because it makes them so special and so unique. So I would say that understanding your unique approach to communication and to networking is an ongoing transformational experience. And if you feel like you are not there yet because there's a huge obstacle in your life, then you can really get past that. You can learn to become better, to not fear those things anymore. And you can always transform into a better and a more confident version of yourself.
True that. I think personally that networking is the number one skill for your success in your career. It doesn't matter if you are not a business owner, it's still the number one skill. There's nothing else I think that is going to give you as much value, as much fun and pleasure than mastering these opportunities that you are going to get through networking. And also, everything else is affected by the way you do networking. Even every other skill that you have, you can test them when you do networking, because you're talking to different people, and as you are growing as a powerful communicator, meeting these interesting people, interacting with them is going to force you out of your comfort zone, yes or yes. And
Yes.
that is going to force you to try different approaches, different conversation starters, different conversation skills, and even different negotiation skills. So don't hesitate, accept the challenge right on. Never shy away from a networking opportunity again, because this is going to help you to be your new you, a powerful networker, a confident person, and a truly powerful marketer.
Very well put. I love that powerful marketing part. But all jokes aside, we sincerely hope that you'll be using the knowledge we have shared with you to build and leverage your professional and personal network, and also your communication skills, which are so crucial. And as you said, the skill of networking is universally necessary. It's not just for business owners. And especially if you want to be a great leader and a powerful marketer, it's just one of those areas that you need to work on. And think about it, knowing the right people leads to achieving the desired results, because we can't do everything on our own. We need other people besides us. And you can't build a stable professional relationship with the right people without knowing proper communication techniques and skills. And that beautifully ties back to one of our previous webinars, how to effectively communicate in business and in life. So I truly recommend, if you haven't seen that, go find it on our YouTube channel. It's going to be mind-blowing, truly.
Very mind-blowing. And it's very beautiful to see how all these topics we've discussed tied in very nicely with the Powerful Marketer Talks into one subject, being a powerful marketer, empowering yourself. And networking is such a critical part, a huge element in that. So make sure that you use all the tips, all the tools that we've shared for networking, and make sure that you make an effort to leverage your network to make it one of your most valuable assets.
Yes, and this is also why we have put a lot of emphasis on networking in the Powerful Marketer program. And if you feel listening to us right now that networking is an area in your life that may need a little bit more attention, a little bit more processes or knowledge, then I would say that the Powerful Marketer program is the place for you, because some of the things that we shared there about networking are how to integrate referral marketing in your sales forecast. Because Nathan, you gave a very beautiful example before about going out there, meeting new people, and how much sales you can expect the next year as a result of that. Also, what you can learn is how to conduct your referral experience map and how to measure your referral marketing KPIs or key performance indicators. How to design do a design sprint session to work on your referral marketing strategy, because as it is with most things in life, a strategy can help you to get to your desired goal a lot faster and more effectively. So you also need a strategy networking. And of course, how to work with networking audit tool and networking event checklist. And I'm not just saying all of those fancy and complicated phrases to confuse you, it's the opposite. I just want to show that there's so much that each and every person can learn about networking, and it will make it so much easier to become a great networker.
That's really powerful stuff right there. And of course, you have to give yourself that gift of self-development. You have to work on your growth, and it's up to you to do that. If I may share my personal journey on applying these principles.
Yes, you may.
Okay. So going way back when I was a kid, I used to be bullied at school. I used to be this super fat, ugly looking. You can imagine these massive glasses that I wore. Probably you would have bullied me if you saw me. I would have bullied myself. I don't know. It was a tough journey growing up and feeling alone and excluded and not fitting. So when I was growing up, I kind of tried to rebel towards that. And I realized over the years that maybe I got into sales because I wanted to show myself, to prove myself and other people that yes, I could fit in, that yes, I could learn to be part of something, that I could be likable. I wanted to please other people. And I found through my career, through sales, that I could do that. And then I found that it's too hard, that people are, different. Not all people respond the same way. And I became super interested about psychology and networking. So when I discovered that you can actually network with people from different backgrounds and you can follow a process, a structured process that can help you communicate and have a meaningful impact in them, it felt so right. And after many years applying these principles that we've integrated into Powerful Marketers program, I realized that I became the consultant helping other people to build that strategy. And that is amazing. When you go from that journey and you feel it's difficult to talk to people, it's difficult to network, you're scared to death, and then you appreciate the great results yourself for your career, you're able to share that and inspire other people in your team. That's a great thing to do. So we invite you to use this knowledge in Powerful Marketers program and use it to the maximum.
Thank you, Nathan, so much for sharing that story. It's very inspiring, and I love how you have become such a strong individual and how you have used your difficult past as a jumping, what is that phrase? Jumping as a stepping stone for your huge success and for building your career and your life. And I can totally relate to what you said. I wasn't bullied at school, but I can relate to the fact that going to meet new people was very scary. And at times it still is, because it is an ongoing process. And if you don't work hard, then and you don't keep on doing those things that you are scared of, then those fears will keep on coming back. But I used to feel like networking was for people who have been in the business for 30 plus years. There are these great gurus who go and discuss how they have made millions and how they are so successful in life. And they felt to me like there were so many light years away from where I was. I was just a little girl with little experience. There was no reason for me to go to those networking events. Who am I to go there? What am I going to talk about there? But as I learned to understand myself better, and as I started to work on my mindset, then those fears slowly started to decrease a bit. And I learned that there are actually tools and processes that you can follow to even go to those very scary situations and to overcome those very scary situations and be successful. And the more you do those things that really frighten you, then the more you feel empowered and the more you feel like you truly are in control of your life. And that is also why in the Powerful Marketer program, we do not only focus on your marketing skills, because that's just a tiny part of who you really are. You are a person, and you have those big dreams and big goals. And of course, you want to be successful in your life, whatever success means to you. but this success will only come if you can work on different areas of your life. And in PMP, we have 5 key areas that we believe are necessary for every marketer to truly become powerful. And those are mindset, your subconscious support system, which means all the fundamental knowledge that is there to support you, your professionalism or your disciplines that can help you be a great marketing professional, then communication literacy, which includes communication skills and networking, because of course you always have to go out there and talk to other people and ask for help and guidance to make your crazy ideas happen. And action and leadership, because you have to lead your life. And even if you're not in a leadership position, then leadership is something that you need every day to create your dream life. And in Powerful Marketer program, we have videos, in total 893 minutes, which is, I think it's closer to 15 hours than 14 hours, but yeah, you can get the picture. And to make your change long lasting, we have also included 55 action items so that you can implement your new learnings into your life straight away. And that way you can achieve more, do more, reach higher, and truly become a powerful marketer. So if you are interested in that, if you want to start creating your best life, your best version of yourself, then go check out marketersprogram.com.
Please do that. And by the way, do you know that you have a chance to test the material?
Wow.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
You can see exactly what PMP is like by going into our free resources program. And you go to the same website, to marketersprogram.com, and you can find this awesome 7 video series that is called The Secret of Powerful Marketers. Go check it out. It's free of charge. It's right there for you. And it will give you a great feel of what the program is like. And that's not everything. You also have this 18-page, super extensive PDF guide on different levels of growth for marketers. You can also test yourself. You can test your skills. You can see where you are as a marketer, as a professional. You can check where you want to grow, in which direction. So go and check those out. Give yourself that opportunity to be inspired.
Yep, do that. And I think that this is a beautiful note on which we can end today's powerful webinar. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Remember that you are the most important person in your own life, and you deserve the absolute best. So if there are areas in your life that you are unhappy with, then think, what can you do to change that? Because life goes by so fast, and it would be such a shame to waste it doing things that you don't truly enjoy. So keep learning, keep pushing, keep creating your dream life. You truly have so much power inside of you.
Yes, you do. So thank you, everybody, for joining us this week. Make sure you subscribe. So go on YouTube, on the YouTube channel, and we will see you next time. Take care and stay inspired. Have a wonderful weekend.